metric measurement amount. The prefix is the little word in front that tells you what unit you're measuring in. So kilo counts by 1,000, whereas we talked about milli is 1,000. So when you divide it by 1,000, and you're measuring meters, liters, or grams. If there is no prefix in front, you see the picture of the barn in the middle, then you're counting by the ones place. Thousands place is the biggest on the left, that's kilo, and we're going to use a cow spelled with a K to represent kilo, and that's going to be your biggest place. The horse is the hundredth place. The deca or donkey is the tens place, so like a decade counts in units of 10 years. So that's the tens place. And then we're going to go smaller. So a dog is smaller than a donkey. That's the tenth place. Not counting by 10, but when you divide by 10 or 10 parts. So if you took 1 meter stick, which would be the barn, divide into 10 parts, then that would be a decimeter. And then you're going to use a decimal because 1 divided by 10 is tenth place, or 0.1. You could divide that same meter stick into 100 smaller parts. Those are centimeters. So centi means 100. So 1 century is divided into 100 years. 1 cent is 1/100th of a dollar. Or if you took 100 divided, or you took 1 meter stick divided by 100 parts, you would get 0.01, the hundredth place. And milli is the thousandth place. So if you took that 1 meter stick divided into 1,000 little marks, then you would be in the millimeters, or 0.001, the thousandth place. Now we're going to go from kilometers to, say, centimeters. How would you convert that? So we're going to look at the scale on this worksheet. It tells you the place values, and it goes from the kilo being on the top all the way down to the millimeters, so what place value. So if we start with 1 liter, the top right, 1 liter equals how many milliliters? This is where I'm going to use the place values. And I'm going to start at, liters doesn't have a prefix. It's only 1 letter, so I know I'm starting here. And I want to get to milliliters, which is here. X marks the spot. So I'm going to go, how many place values to the right? 1, 2, 3, and stop. So when I write my answer, I'm going to take 1. There is no decimal behind a whole number, but it's there. They just don't bother to write it. So there's always a decimal behind like a whole number. So now I'm going to move my decimal. 1, 2, 3 place values to the right. And this is where my new decimal is going to go. Anywhere you see a little dip, you're going to plug in a 0. So that's my answer. 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. We can do the same right here. So now we're starting at milligrams, and we want to go to grams. Notice there is no prefix in front of grams, so I'm starting at the ones place. But this time, instead of going from grams to milligrams, I want to go the other direction. So now I'm going to move my decimal that way, 3 place values. So I'm going to take my 1,000 grams. It's a whole number. There's no decimal there, so I assume that my decimal, if it were there, would be hidden behind it. Now I'm going to move it to 3 place values to the left. And so my new decimal should go right here. So it's saying that 1,000 milligrams is equal to 1 gram, and that is true. 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. Now you're going to do that for each of these, and I recommend doing those little loops so that way you know everywhere to put a 0. That's to hold your place in line. So here I have 160 centimeters, and I want to know how many millimeters. So I'm starting at centimeters, and I want to get to millimeters. I'm going to move it just the 1 place to the right. So where's my decimal? 160. There's no decimal, so assume it's behind it. And I'm going to move it 1 to the right. And that's 1,600. That's a comma. All right? Keep going. There's a back side I want you to continue working on. It gets a little spicier when it's down here. It says 7 grams is equal to 696 milligrams. What you're going to have to do is make sure that they're either both grams or they're both milligrams. So if I want to convert 7 grams to milligrams, I'm going to start back up here. Now, there is no prefix, so I'm here at grams, and I want to go to milligrams, and again, as before, just move your decimal 3 places to the right. So I'm going to take my 7 grams, put a decimal because there isn't one, so assume it's behind it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, this decimal is going to disappear because it's going to come over here now. So that 7,000 grams, or milligrams, I'm sorry, is equal to 7 grams. They're the same thing. And that is, in fact, greater than 698 milligrams because it's 700. So we're going to go with greater than symbol. Some might be equal and some might be less than. This one wants to know 250 meters is equal to how many kilometers? We know kilo is 1,000. So there's not quite 1,000 here, is there? So we're going to put our decimal, 250. Decimal's going to go behind it, and we want to know how many place values to move this. So we're going to come back up here. Again, in this case, it was starting in the ones place. Now we're going to go to kilometers, or kilo, whatever we're measuring in. So I'm going to move 3 places to the left, and that should be pretty easy. So go 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 250 kilometers. It's not always going to start at the ones place. It might start at the centimeters or decameters and be moving over. So you're just going to practice how many place values. Alrighty. Good luck.